Many people think that in order to really know what's going on with their chakras, that they need to get a reading or have a healing session. And while those certainly can be very beneficial and illuminating, the truth is that your chakras are always communicating with you, with your physical body, with your conscious awareness. So the question is, are you listening? And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So thanks for being here. My name is Christine from Kyanite Psychic Services, and I love to help sensitive and creative souls build confidence and trust in their connection with spirit. And you can find out more about me at kyanitepsychic.com. So this video is part of a series that I decided to create this month on the chakras. And if you haven't checked out the first two, I invite you to do so. They're in the description below and at some point up above. The first video is really a start here. It talks about what chakras are. And in that video, I explain how they're connected to the physical body via the endocrine system. So we know there's that connection and that we are able to notice sensations in the physical body because of it. And in the second video, I talked about how our chakras are always in motion, just like our physical body is always in motion. They're opening and closing based on both the energy that's currently in our field and whatever we're doing out in the world, what experiences we're having. So we can notice when our chakras are opening and closing, and we can notice what kinds of information are in there. And the first way we can notice this is by physical sensation. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. Many of you probably have had this experience. I know because there are comments in some of the meditations that I posted of feeling some kind of pressure or sensation, whether it's in the third eye, like someone's pressing on it, or on top of the head, the crown. And that is a communication from either the sixth or seventh chakra that they're opening to a degree that they maybe haven't opened before in this lifetime, right? So sometimes when we are setting the intention to both notice and work with that center of the body, and it opens to a greater degree than it's opened before, we'll feel that slight pressure. Some people it's a little more intense, but usually it's like someone pressing, right? So that's one example. In your everyday life, let's talk about that. If any of you have ever had to give a speech in public or maybe teach a class for the first time and you're a little nervous about it and you have that experience of like having to clear your throat, even though before you were totally fine, well, that is really a communication from your throat chakra, your center of communication, that there's some fear energy, maybe some anxiety, maybe some perfectionism, right? That's being stirred up to be released in that moment. And when you are clearing your throat, you're literally releasing that energy and information out of the way so you can do what you're there to do and communicate what you're there to communicate. If you've ever had the experience of someone who is pushing on your boundaries, maybe someone's getting a little too close to your bubble, your personal space, and you feel butterflies or you feel uneasy in your stomach, or maybe someone's asking you to do something for them that really is outside of your comfort zone or that you don't feel comfortable doing, and you start to feel that uneasy feeling in your gut. Yes, that is what we call a gut feeling or your intuition saying, no, 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 no. But it's also a communication from your third or solar plexus chakra, which is located right there above the belly button where your gut is. That's our center of boundaries, of personal power, and how we show up in the world. So when someone pushes on our boundaries in some way, whether it's literally getting in our physical space or pushing on our boundaries emotionally or with requests or demands, we're going to feel it. That center of the body is going to contract and we're going to notice that sensation, right? And there are many other examples. I'm sure you can start to think of them. The wheels are turning. Chakras communicate with us via sensations in the body, but that's not the only way that we can listen to them. They also communicate to us via our thoughts. So consider that anytime you're chakras start to open or close, and energy becomes what I like to call lit up within them. Whatever is lit up, whatever's activated, you start to think thoughts related to that information. So, this really means that when we think thoughts, whatever the thoughts are, we are literally reading energy and information in our field. Some of that could be ours, and some of that could be not ours. So, an example, if you're sitting a guided meditation that focuses on the heart chakra, and you've been in this kind of blissful, thoughtless state, all of a sudden, though, you start thinking about something. You're thinking about your mom, your dad, your ex, a dear friend, your current partner. Well, you're reading some energy and information that got kicked up, lit up in your center of relationships in the heart chakra. So, when mindfulness meditations, there's that goal that you are supposed to watch your thoughts, observe your thoughts. It adds a whole new maybe layer to that because whatever thoughts are coming up, it's really information that's being stirred up from a particular energy center of your body. Super interesting, right? Another example, because really, this can be a very subtle experience, like, oh, passing thought about my mom when I'm focusing on the heart space, or it can be more intense. Say you're reading or watching something on the news about a natural disaster that took place in some part of the world that you don't live in. And you turn the program off, you're going to do something else, but you find that you just can't stop thinking about what happened. And you're getting more thought of what if it happens here? What would I do in this circumstance? How do I prepare myself? Do I need to be more prepared? Like, there's a whole train of thoughts related to natural disaster that you just cannot disengage from. In that circumstance, your root chakra, your center of survival, was really activated by watching that program or listening to that news story. And as it opened up in response to whatever you were taking in, some information in your root chakra got lit up or activated. Probably a whole string of information, right? And you're then reading it, thought after thought after thought after thought, related to natural disaster, survival. And some of that information could be from this lifetime, from an experience that you've had, right? Or that family has had. And some of it could be much older. Some of it could be ancestral because we can store energy and information in our chakras from our ancestors or even from other lifetimes. Maybe you had a lifetime on earth where you experienced a similar natural disaster. You lived through it. And so that information that was tucked away in your root chakra in that moment became activated. You became aware of it and you started thinking thought after thought after thought and kind of putting yourself in the experience. So if you ever find yourself judging the thoughts that you're having, I invite you to pause and really give yourself some grace and get curious. Where are those thoughts really coming from? What energy is being activated right now? And where in my body am I feeling it? It can be so empowering to start to view your thoughts as communication, as energy and information that you're literally reading versus labeling them as good thoughts or bad thoughts. It can be a bit more neutral to them. So rather than needing someone else to tell you what's happening in your body, you can really begin listening for yourself. You can notice the sensations in your body, especially ones that show up parallel to where the chakras are energetically. You can notice through the thoughts that arise. This is how your chakras communicate with you. And the more time that you spend connecting with yourself, especially in meditation, the more natural, this deeper awareness becomes. And you begin to notice the communication sooner and have a deeper understanding of yourself. And the other thing is, from that place of awareness, you can start to release energy that might be creating thoughts or sensations that you do not wish to carry any longer. We always, always, always have the power to shift and change our energy. So I hope that what I've shared today helps deepen your understanding of how chakras function and communicate, and also helps you take a step forward in your self-healing journey towards greater personal empowerment. There are quite a lot of resources that I have to share that kind of speak to this topic. I have a few meditations on my channel, one that's chakra balancing, and the other that's an intuitive body scan where you start to notice your body and how you perceive it with your non-physical senses. So I'll link both of those meditations both above and below in the description. I have some free workshops also that start to help you develop your awareness of energy. And I do have a 6-month training called Intuitive Freedom that shows you how to read the energy of not only the body, but of many different topics and facets of our life and experience. So if that resonates with you, I'll put information for that program in the description bar below. It would be such a pleasure to be one of your teachers in this lifetime. So I want to thank you so much for being here. And if you enjoyed this video, please do respond with a like or maybe leave me a comment. Be blessed, and I look forward to connecting with you in the next one.